and welcome to Dental Studies Simplified. I am Dr. Ankita Kotecha and today's topic is probing depth versus CAL. CAL because we have an important question to answer. L stands for level or loss. I'll discuss this topic under the following questions: probing depth and how to measure it, clinical attachment level or loss and how to measure it, what is the relation between both the parameters, and final concluding remarks, which is the better indicator of the periodontal disease activity. So the first point is probing depth. Now probing depth are of two types: biologic or histologic, and the other type is our clinical, that is probing depth, which we measure routinely in our clinical practice. Now this is the actual distance between the crest of the margin and the base of the pocket. And this distance is measurable only in histologic sections which are carefully prepared. So this distance is the ideal probing depth, which is biologic or histologic. Whereas the clinical probing depth which we measure is the base of the probable device with our periodontal probe from the crest of the gingival margin to the base of the device and not the actual sulcus base. It may end above or it may breach the junctional epithelium or the attachment and enter the connective tissue, thereby giving us various types of errors. Now, the probing depth which we do clinically depends on various factors. On the instrument aspect, we have the size of the instrument, that is mainly the tip, if it is thick or very thin, the angulation, the insertion technique, the force, the pressure that we exert, and on the tissue aspect, we have the status of the tissue, whether it is firm and resilient or inflamed or heavily inflamed, in which case it will not be able to resist the probing forces, even the normal probing forces. So our clinical probing might remain underscored or overscored, because maybe, for example, if the probe tip is thick, then it may end above the base of the sulcus. In that case, we will get a score smaller than the actual score. And in the second case scenario, if the tissues are heavily inflamed, in that case the probing force, the normal probing force, will also result into the breach of the epithelium and connective tissue attachment. In that case, the probe may enter the tissue, breaching it, and we get a score higher than the actual probing depth. So in a way, this clinical probing depth is just a proxy value of the biologic probing depth, and that is why here is my first argument, that probing depth is not a good parameter to be considered to assess disease activity in periodontium. Clear? This is the probing depth, the distance between the crest of the gingival margin and the base of the pocket. Ideally, this distance from the crest of the gingival margin to the base of the sulcus or pocket. Two types, biologic or histologic, and the clinical probing depth which we perform. Clear? Now we will discuss CAL. Basically, it is the distance between CEJ and the base of the sulcus. Remember, probing depth was the distance from the crest of the gingival margin to the sulcus, and CAL is the distance between CEJ and the base of the sulcus. Here they have one parameter in common, that is base of the sulcus, but the coronal parameter, coronal reference point, is variable. In case of probing depth, it is the crest of the gingival margin. In case of CAL, it is CEJ. Now, level refers to a position, a location. For example, the attachment level is in coronal third, middle third or apical third at so and so distance from a fixed reference point, in our case CEJ. So level refers to position, a location. Okay, the distance from CEJ, that position, and loss refers to the actual distance that this dentogingival unit migrates apically. Clear? And thereby resulting in loss. Again, there is one more concept to remember. For loss, we need two values. and for level it is a single value entity. I'll explain. Level is the preoperative parameter. So before starting any surgery, before doing any treatment, if we measure the CAL, it is referred to as clinical attachment level, because when the patient visits us in our clinical setup or even during our college OPD, we don't have any reference value to term it as loss. To assess it as loss, we should have two values. How do we get the net amount of loss or gain? For that we have to have two values, say A and B. The difference between the two will give you whether it is a loss or gain, and that is why preoperatively the measurements done are clinical attachment level. We just know the level from the CEJ where it is present, where the attachment begins, and that is why before starting any treatment, the preoperative measurement is to be called as clinical attachment level, preoperative. Justified? And now, after doing the treatment, be it non-surgical or surgical, and at the reevaluation visit, we have two values, preoperative and post-operative. And so now, post-operatively, we should use the term loss, because now we have two values to compare, and the comparison of the two, the difference of the two will give you whether it is a loss or gain. So both the terminologies are correct, it's just a matter of the timing when to use them. So now the answer is clear, clinical attachment level before the treatment and clinical attachment loss or gain in positive after the treatment. Clear? Now we will discuss how to measure CAL. So it is the distance from CEJ to the base of the sulcus or pocket. This distance will give you CAL. If it is preoperatively, it is level. If it is postoperatively, you get the loss or gain, whichever applicable then. Clear? So now, till now we have discussed probing depth and how to measure it, CAL and how to measure it. Now we will discuss what is the relationship between the two. For understanding their relationship, we will have three case scenarios. Here, before understanding the three case scenarios, remember the three reference points, A, B and C. A is the crest of the gingival margin, B is the CEJ and C is the base of the sulcus or pocket. So A, B and C. A, B and C. A, B and C. Clear? This is a case of a healthy gingiva where the probing depth is minimum, the normal probing depth. Here, now the relationship between CAL and probing depth is the distance from the crest of the gingival margin to the base of the pocket or the sulcus is one parameter, that is AC. Now, subtract the distance from crest of the gingival margin to the CEJ, that is AB, in all the case scenarios. Now we will compute the values. Okay. In a healthy gingiva, the base of the sulcus is at or above CEJ. The normal position is 1 mm above CEJ. That is, CEJ is not visible in healthy state. That is why we assume the base of the sulcus is at or above CEJ. Let's say it is at CEJ. So in that case, B is equal to C. And so the distance AC and AB are same. And so here CAL is 0. Now in case of a probing depth, this is a diseased condition where we have a deep pocket. Here the pocket depth, that is crest of the gingival margin to the base of the sulcus. This is the probing depth, and the distance between A and B, crest of the gingival margin to the CEJ. This distance is subtracted, and that is how we get the CAL. Here it will be a positive value. Clear? Minus. Coming to the next scenario where we have recession. As you can appreciate, CEJ is visible, root is visible, and the crest of the gingival margin is here. Now, again, the rule is same. We have to subtract this distance. This is the pocket depth, crest of the gingival margin to the base of the sulcus, minus this distance. Now, again, this distance has to go downward, but here the distance is in the opposite direction. So, our value will be negative, and so minus AB, and hence in case of recession we add both the distances. This is the general mathematical concepts, no confusions when to add, when to subtract. Please don't try to mugify the things, try to understand the general mathematics rules. Clear? The rule is same. The distance AC and AB, they have to be subtracted in all the cases, even in recession, but according to the textbook language it is written you have to add the values. Why? Because of this general mathematical rules. See the concept behind the concept. Okay. So here, because this distance AB is in opposite direction as compared to the other case scenarios, the value is considered to be a negative value, and hence minus of minus value becomes plus, and that is why the textbook gives you a direct concept that in case of recession both the distances value has to be added. But actually this is the general rule. It is subtraction only, but because of the negative value considering the mathematics, it becomes plus. Minus of minus becomes plus. So this is the general relationship between probing depth and attachment level or loss. Okay. This completes the third point, relationship. Now we will give us final concluding remarks, which is the better parameter. For that, please remember, attachment level is the position or the location where the attachment begins. Okay. And probing depth is the distance between crest of the gingival margin and the base of the sulcus or pocket. Now we will have again two case scenarios. Okay. This is case A with a deep pocket. Appreciated? And attachment level is in coronal 1/3. This is case B with a shallow pocket and attachment is in apical 1/3. Now you all decide which case has a better prognosis, which case has more disease activity. The case A has a deep pocket, case B has a shallow pocket. So a general answer will be a case with deep pocket is more severe and has a poor prognosis compared to the case with shallow pocket and has a better prognosis there. Clear? But here is the catch. Look at the attachment level. The attachment level of a deep pocket depth case is in the coronal 1/3, whereas the attachment level of a shallow pocket depth case is in the apical 1/3. And that is why, by looking at the case scenario now, considering the attachment level, we can obviously surely answer that case A has a better prognosis and case A is less severe than case B because of the attachment level. And that is why attachment level is a better parameter to assess the disease severity, disease activity, and even as a prognostic indicator. One more finding or fact to validate my answer is the latest classification of periodontal diseases 2017. If you have gone through my video on the same topic, they have considered CAL as a severity indicator while staging the periodontitis and not the probing depth. Probing depth they have considered as the complexity factor to assess whether it will make the case management complex or no. But the main indicator of severity, the primary indicator is CAL. This is how my answer gets validation that CAL is a better indicator of disease severity. So I hope all the four queries, probing depth and its measurement, clinical attachment level or loss, that is before treatment its level, after treatment it is loss or gain, what is the relationship between the two, and which is better. All the queries are solved hereby. I hope all the topics, all the questions are clear to you all. But if you still have any doubts or any queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section below or mail me at dentalstudysimplified@gmail.com. Thank you for watching and listening to me. Study well. Have a good day. Stay safe.